Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prastayati.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prastayati.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya.
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasade Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasudeva Bhakta Vrinda.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Hare Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Madana Mohana. Haribol.
Hare Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Hare Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Hare Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Hare Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Hare Govinda Rama, Madana
Haribol, Haribol. Everybody sing now.
Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, 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 Madana Mohana. Haribol. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga. Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prastayate.
Sorry, Namaste.
One who has not listened to the message about the prowess, marvelous acts of the personality of Godhead, and who has never sung or chanted the holy names of the who have never chanted loudly the worthy songs about the Lord is to be considered to possess ear holes like the holes of snakes and tongue like the tongue of the frog. So, due to our conditioning, for so long, we've been conditioned through our activities of engaging in primitive activities. Ang nangyari sa buhay natin, yung nasa ulo natin lahat is all about the focus of this world. Kaya mabigat talaga yung covering natin. Kaya ang tendency, pag topics about the Supreme Person, yung ulo natin, sa sobrang bigat, we are carrying a heavy burden that we cannot appreciate and enter that world that will give us life, happiness, and fulfillment. Kaya para sa atin, we're carrying that load because of our meditation and our focus. Kaya wala tayong attraction to get out of this sinkhole sa mundo na to. Wala tayong gana, wala tayong enthusiasm. Bakit? I'll read this. Dito natin makikita, kasi yung ginagawa kasi natin process is to be able to be aware. Kailangan malaman mo kung ano yung sitwasyon mo eh. Hindi pwedeng nandiyan ka lang nakaupo, nakatunganga, nakabukas yung bibig, at nakaupo pero hindi ka nakakarinig. Ba't hindi ka nakakarinig? Kasi yung tainga natin, punong-puno ng material covering. Dahil yung conditioning natin, yung mind natin, sobrang bigat ng load na kine-carry natin dahil nakapokus tayo dito sa material world. Kaya pag yung topic about our interest na natin hindi tayo interesado kasi nga we are deaf, bingi tayo. Hindi lang bingi, bulag pagyud. Hindi alam kung saan pupunta. Pero akala natin we can hack it out. We are on our own. We can sustain yung progress natin towards the goal na hindi natin alam kung ano yung goal na yon, but it's simply a direction that engulfs us, covers us, na hindi na tayo makarinig, wala na tayong enthusiasm. We are, para tayong, alam niyo yung living dead. Why? Yung description, alam niyo yung spider web? Yung spider web, yung insect, lilipad, makikita niya yung spider web, ma-attract siya sa glitter. Kasi kumikintab yan sa umaga dahil usually yung spider, pag gumawa siya naglabas siya ng web niya, natatamaan ng dew, yung hamog. Kaya pag lumabas yung araw, may kintab. Kaya yung insect, direkto pupunta doon. Pag dumikit ka doon, di ka makakaalis. Lalo na yung mga maliliit na insect, kagaya ng langaw. Makikita nyo, hindi sila makaalis. Andun sila. Bakit? Kasi sa sobrang bigat ng load mo, hindi mo na kayang kargahin, nadaganan ka na. Pero hindi mo ma-appreciate yun kung nakadikit ka doon sa spider web. Sa sobrang, yung senses mo, yung senses natin, yung mind natin, nakadikit doon sa focus ng materialism. Akala kasi natin, malagay tayo sa sitwasyon na chant, maliberate tayo, makinig tayo kung ano yung devotee. Hindi natin alam kung gaano ka-valuable yung human form of life. That even yung mga demigods, envies yung someone who has this human form. Kasi in this human form of life, you can engage yourself, use this body to connect our life by using this body in connection with rendering devotional service. Pero hindi man yun ang mundo natin for so long, kaya ang bigat. Kaya habang nandito ka, nagtataka ka, bakit hindi ko mabitiwan yung, ba't hindi ako umuusad? Okay, ba't hindi ako umuusad? Kasi hindi mo alam kung saan ka uusad. Alam niyo yung uusad? Ha? Alam niyo, you move forward. Tataka ka, ba't hindi ako move? Ha? Nag-chant naman ako. Nag-engage ako sa practice. Nakikinig ako, ba't hindi ako mag-move? Ito yung kasagutan doon ng devote ng Pwede kasi nakaupo ka dyan pero hindi ka nakakakinig. Hindi ka nakakakinig. Kaya nga, tinuturo sa atin yung pinapakita sa atin yung nature ng material world. Awareness of our situation that we are in this predicament. Malaking problema. Akala natin, ang problema lang natin, makawala sa bigat ng daladala natin. Paano ka makakaalis? Yung utak mo, yung mind mo, sobrang natabunan na ng focus sa materialism. At yung hinahanap mong kaligayahan, yung search for happiness, ay nakadirekto sa utak mo, sa mind mo. Kaya tataka ka, nakaupo ka, parang hindi ka nakakausad. Ito yung dahilan. Kasi lahat ng ginagawa ng devotees, yung mga saintly person, is very clear, has clarity, and absolute. Walang baka, ano ba yan? Walang doubt. It's very clear. At kung nabigyan ka tayo ng opportunity to come in contact with someone who sees the truth, especially the teachings of Lord Krsna, the spiritual master, and the saintly person, and if we are sincere enough, and with this faith to listen, that sound that comes from their transcendental lips and their transcendental tongue will purify us, purify our heart. So ngayon, tingnan natin yung situation natin kung nasaan tayo. One who has not listened to the message about the prowess of the marvelous acts of the personality of Godhead and has not sung or chanted loudly the worthy songs about the Lord is to be considered to possess ear holes like the holes of snakes and the tongue like that of a frog. Purport. Devotional service to the Lord is rendered by all the limbs or parts of the body. It is the transcendental dynamic force of the spirit soul. Therefore, a devotee is engaged 100% in the service of the Lord. One can engage in devotional service when the senses of the body are purified in relationship with the Lord. And one can render service to the Lord with the help of all the senses. And one can render service to the Lord with the help of all the senses. Kaya ang mangyayari, kung yung body natin, yung mind natin, is gliding towards this material world, paano na yung human form of life, or human form na living entity tayo na sa human form na to can be successful to be liberated from this suffering if our focus is upon this gross dead world. So ang ibig sabihin nun, how we use our senses. Paano natin ginagamit yung senses natin? Tainga natin, bibig natin, mata natin, utak natin, isipan natin, yung energy na mayroon tayo, which is yung awareness natin, saan nakapokus. Kaya huwag kang magtataka kung nalagay ka sa sitwasyon na may opportunity para ma-achieve natin yung what we are discussing is yung benefit ng having this human form of life. Because with this human form of life, we can make a decision we can make a choice to use this body to connect ourselves in devotional service by using this body, the function of the senses, connected with pleasing the Lord, that will benefit us. So, yung materialistic person, naririnig niyang sound, puro mundane, natural, garbage in, garbage out. Alam niyo yan? Kung ano yung pumasok sa utak mo, yun yung tumabon sa puso mo. Kaya lalabas sa bibig mo, garbage. Hindi purifying. Kaya, nung si Maharaj Pariksit, alam niyang 7 days na lang yung buhay niya sa katawan, ang sabi sa kanya ng mga saintly person, sit down and listen from Sukadev Goswami, okay, who is the representative of the Supreme Person, the disciple of Narada Muni, the son of Lord Vyasadeva. So they're all perfect devotees. At the sound that comes out of their lips, the tongue, when they speak, it's purifying because it's transcendental to this material contamination or consideration. So ngayon, nabigyan tayo ng opportunity. Ang naririnig natin for so long, yung mga tinig ng mga palaka, tinig ng mga aso, yun ang nakatabon sa utak natin. Kaya nga attracted tayo sa ML, attracted tayo makinig ng kung ano-anong kabalbalan. Attracted tayo makinig sa mga glories ng mga iba. Kaya ngayon, hindi na natin na-appreciate na akala natin pag may isang individual na nakakagawa ng parang hindi mo maintindihan kung ano, hindi na natin nakikita na kung ano yung miracle. Ano yung miracle? It's God's power. Okay? It's God mystical power. Pero just given to His servant, the demigods who are maintaining this universe, who are serving Him in different capacities, giving us rain. For example, yung isang tao, may sa India, meron siyang mystic power. Sa kamay niya, nakakapagpalabas siya ng mga jewelry. Halimbawa, ruby lalabas. Wow! Galing! Magician, mystic. Grabe, nakakagawa siya ng mga napapalabas niya yung ruby. Pero hindi natin na-appreciate na kung aware ka with the wisdom that comes from our Gurudev, the saintly person, and you are seeing the difference between nescience and transcendental science, at nakikita mo yung living or non-living, you're seeing the Lord. If you look here, makikita nyo for so long, summer sa atin. Lahat ng tubig, nag-evaporate, condensation, nag-evaporate. Okay? Yung area, madumi, mga tao umiihi, may mga dumi dyan, putik, lapok, pero yung tubig, pag nag-evaporate yun, nag-condense taas, naging clouds, pagbaba nun, malinis na tubig. Pero hindi natin na-appreciate, wow, sinong gumagawa niyan? Di ba? Pero pag may isang tao, magpakita sa iyo ng card, tapos biglang gaganunin niya na pumuputi, wow, ang galing mo. Okay? Hindi natin na-appreciate yung power na nagko-control sa universe. For example, bakit lahat ng planet umiikot in synchronicity? Hindi nagbabanggaan. At bakit tayo nandito sa Earth na hindi tayo lumilipad dahil sa gravity? Pero hindi natin na-appreciate kasi nandyan lang eh. Mas na-appreciate pa natin pag yung isang tao binudul-budul ka, pinakita sa'yo na magaling siya. Ang tanong, saan galing yung power niya? Okay? Yung tini-wini power niya na nakakapagpalabas siya ng ruby sa kamay niya. O kaya nababasa niya yung isipan mo. Na-hypnotize ka. Malayo ka pero kaya niya through mental telepathy iparating sa iyo yung dapat mo marinig. Pero na-achieve naman ng science yun. May cellphone na yun. Diba? Nandiyan yun yung mga transmitter, mga satellite na nasa kabila ka 10,000 miles away, pwede mo siyang kontakin. Padala ka lang ng text. Dala ka sa Messenger, okay, di ba? Sa Viber. Na-achieve na yun eh. Pero para sa atin, hindi natin na-appreciate yung mga nangyayari sa kapaligiran kasi yung utak natin, yung ulo natin, sobrang bigat na nakasubsub na tayo sa lapok. Hindi ka na makagalaw. Kaya kung hindi natin ma-appreciate yung wisdom at yung situation natin, hindi natin makita, we will not make an effort to move forward and focus our life and use this human form to experience what we're longing for. Kaya nangyayari, dahil sobrang bigat ng ulo mo, puro garbage, puro materialistic sound ang narinig natin. Pag malungkot ka, ang tendency mo, saan ba dati? So yung dadali mo na naman yung katawan mo kung saan yung pinanggalingan mo dati. Pero akala mo free ka. Gusto kong gawin maging free kung anong gusto kong gawin. Pero hindi totoo yun. You're shackled. Hindi lang shackled, you're imprisoned. Yung living entity, so much imprisoned with his focus upon this material world, kaya hindi siya makaalis. Sobrang bigat ng ulo niya. Kaya mangyayari, sobrang bigat ng ulo mo, pag nasa tubig ka, ano mangyayari sa'yo? Lulubog ka. Sobrang bigat eh. Halimbawa, anong ginagawa ng halimbawa, pag lulubog yung barko, anong ginagawa lahat ng ginagawa nila? Hindi naman, yung maleta ko, dadalhin ko. Ganun ba kayo? Okay? Nag-aalis nga sila ng damit eh. Dahil mabigat yung damit mo, cotton, o kaya kagaya ng ginagawa ng mga estudyante rito, kaya kayo, lagi kayo nakatabon yung ulo ba? Nag-imagine kayo na kayo si Spider-Man. Nag-imagine kayo na choy-choy kayo, na hindi nakikita yung utak nyo, kaya naglalakad kayo. Ano yun eh? Covering nyo ng materialism. Hindi nyo nakikita na nakalubog ka na. Okay. Kaya pag mayroong proseso na para bigyan ka ng pagkakataon na sabihin sa'yo, oy, tanggalin natin yung pabigat sa ulo mo. Hindi matanggal-tanggal. Kasi nakalubog ka na nga eh. So babasahin ko ito yung predicament o yung problema natin lahat. The senses and the action of the senses are to be considered impure or materialistic as long as they are employed only in sense gratification. So doon nyo na makikita, when you're focused upon this material world, sense gratifying, yung senses natin, yun ang sinusunod nyo, you become enslaved. Pag enslaved ka, nakashackled ka. Anong shackled? Nasa presuhan ka, nakakadena ka, hindi ka makaalis-alis. Kaya masinandito ka sa environment, supposedly para ma-purify ka, nakakulong ka pa rin. Hindi mo ma-appreciate kung ano nangyayari. As such, the senses and the action of the senses are to be considered impure or materialistic as long as they are employed only in sense gratification. The purified senses are engaged not in sense gratification, but in the service of the Lord. The Lord is the supreme with all senses, and the servitor, who is part and parcel of the Lord, also has the same senses. Service to the Lord is the completely purified use of the senses. As described in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord imparted instruction with full senses, and Arjuna received them with full senses. And thus there was a perfect exchange of sensible and logical understanding between the master and the disciple. Ibig sabihin, aware yung person. Kaya nga, when you listen or hear this transcendental science from someone who's seer of the truth, then you can see. Not with your eyes, you begin to see. Kaya ang relationship ng disciple sa kanang spiritual master, he is very eager to hear clearly. Kaya nga, napapansin nyo when before our spiritual master appears sa proximity ng periphery ng vision natin, ng mata natin, what do? We engage in the purificatory process of chanting the holy names, an environment that is transcendental, so our mind, our heart is ready to receive the sound that comes from the Supreme Person through His representative. Hindi pwedeng, habang wala pa ang spiritual master, nakaupo kayo lahat. Okay, nakaupo kayo. Kokak, kokak. O, nandiyan na siya. Magsasalita siya, hindi nyo maririnig. Nandiyan kayo, pero wala kayo. Hindi nyo ma-appreciate. Bakit? We have not created a situation wherein we have received the supreme purifier and the environment has been purified and we have not prepared our heart. So, when we hear that wisdom, it sits in our heart. It becomes our life to do what is pleasing to God. Kaya ang nangyayari, nandito ka, rito ka, pero wala ka. Kaya pag yung person, ang description sa individual is that he is seeker of pleasure, ananda. Lahat tayo naghahanap ng pleasure, satisfaction. Kaya kung sobrang bigat ng covering o kaya mabigat yung lugdo mo dahil nakapokus yung bumbuhay natin through following the senses because of sense gratification, then pag dumating ka sa punto ng you're longing for satisfaction, yung hinahanap mo, immediately doon ka mag-glide. Kasi servant ka ng senses. You're enslaved by the senses, by the mind. Go, dasa, servant of the mind. Okay? Is it clear? So doon yung makikita, it's not that yung purpose ng ginagawa rito natin ay we're trying very hard to pass on what Parampara has given us or Lord Krishna is giving us, our Gurudev. Now, if we don't value it, we will not appreciate. And how can we appreciate if we don't understand it? So ngayon, kaya pinapakita sa atin yung reality ng mundo na to. Pinakita sa atin dito, material life is not fulfilling. It's the cause of problem. Spiritual life, in the beginning, it's hard. It's bitter kasi you're being cut off from all the burden and the shackle. Nakadikit, parang yung tortoise, yung turtle ba, punong-puno ng putik, tinatanggal, tak, minamartilyo, antigas, kaya mahirap. Kaya ngayon, na-condition kayo sa mundo nyo dati, ngayon, gusto mong makahanap ng kaligayahan, happiness, security, pero hindi ka makaalis doon. Para sa'yo, masakit masyado na mawala ka doon kasi yung mind mo nakapokus doon. Ibig sabihin nun, yung puso mo natabunan ng material desires. Ikaw. Kaya paghanap mo ng happiness, tendency agad, doon ka mag-glide. Doon ka, naka-anchor ka kasi doon, naka-angkla ka doon for so long. Ngayon, inaalis yung angkla na yun para lumutang ka. Kung yung barko nakalutang, yung angkla na sa baba, ikaw ang tendency mo, sobrang bigat ng nasa ulo mo, lumubog ka na, naka-angkla ka pa sa ilalim. Kaya mahirap. Kaya magtataka ka, ano yung dahilan. Okay? Service to the Lord is completely purified use of the senses, as described in Bhagavad Gita. The Lord imparted instruction with full senses, and Arjuna received them with full senses. And thus, there was a perfect exchange of sensible and logical understanding between the master and the disciple. Spiritual understanding is nothing like an electrical charge from the master to disciple, as foolishly claimed by some propaganda mongers. Everything is full of sense and logic, and in the exchange of views between the master and the disciple is possible only when the reception is submissive and real. Hindi yung spiritual life na parang kinoryente ka ba? Nag-join ka sa group. Alam mo yung nag-join sa group? Yun ang ginagawa ng lahat, di ba? Mapapansin ba nyo yun? Lahat, mag-join ka sa group namin. Ito yung tamang religion. Ganon, di ba? Para kang kinuryente ba? Kaya lahat yayakapin kanila. Kapatid, kapatid, kapatid. Okay? Makaluwas ka na. Hindi yun ang tunay na spiritual life. Ang sinasabi rito, yung paraan is reception. Ibig sabihin nun, oral reception by using this ear and the transcendental supreme sound that purifies the heart, pierces discovering of matter because it is transcendental and it is the cause of matter. Sa scripture, nakalagay doon, everything animate or inanimate comes from the Supreme Person. It belongs to Him. So there's a spiritual energy and material energy. So the living entity tayo, we belong to the spiritual energy. Kaya lang dahil sa desire natin maging God, mag-dominate, we're given this opportunity to play so-called powerful Lord. Kaya you're given this opportunity, this field of activity, this body. Kaya habang ginagawa mo to control material nature, natatabunan ka. Kasi yung mind mo, yung whole focus mo is about getting so much engrossed. Gross, bala yung gross? Materialistic. Yun man ang, bago kayo dumating dito, anong pinapakinggan nyo? Anong ginagawa nyo? Ngayon, pag tinatanggal sa inyo yon, yung covering na yon, you feel insecure. Kasi yun ang mundo mo eh. Hindi ka talaga nakapasok sa mundo of transcendental understanding. Bakit? Yun ang malaking tanong. Okay? The Lord is the Lord of everyone, including the great kings and emperors. And men who are rich in the estimation of mundane people must therefore make it a point to visit the temple of Lord Krishna and regularly bow down before the deity. The Lord in the temple is worshipable. Form is never to be considered to be made out of stone. So, ang sinasabi rito sa atin, when you are given this process, the living entity is covered by material nature. This body, covered ka ng material nature eh. Alam mo yung skin, the body consists of blood, mucus, bile, skin, yung nagko-cover, bones and marrow. Pero dahil nag-identify ka sa body, akala mo, pag tinignan mo yung mirror, oh, how handsome I am. Am I beautiful? Okay? Eh pag may nandun, oy, batiin mong dagway, dili ka, ikaw. Okay? Pero ayaw mo marinig yon. Kaya makikita nyo, yung association is very important. So ang ginawa ni Maharaj Pariksit, nung alam niyang 7 araw na lang siya sa katawan niya, ginawa niya, pinokus niya yung buong buhay niya, katawan niya, lahat ng senses niya, to be connected with this transcendental meditation. Everything. Yung heart niya, yung life niya, hearing from someone who is a pure loving servant of the Supreme Person who can lead him, guide him, and he can enter that world of Vaikuntha where there is no suffering. So si Maharaj Pariksit, he's a great loving servant, and Sukadev Goswami, they're both pure devotees of Krishna. So yung aura reception, yung awareness is very fulfilling kasi it's a connection between their lives in harmony with pure unalloyed devotional service to the Supreme Person. And how did it happen? Through aura reception. Tainga ba? Makinig ka. Okay? So ngayon, ano nagpo-problem? Bakit tayo nagiging problematic? Kasi para tayong dinescribe dito, yung tongue natin na desert, walang buhay, ang lumalabas, mundane sound. Okay. Ito, babasahin ko ito para mas madali. Para makita natin. Okay. In the impure state of the living entity, the various senses are fully engaged in mundane affairs. If the ear is not engaged in the service of the Lord by hearing about Him from Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, certainly the holes of the ear will be filled with some rubbish. Kasi kaya nga sa practice ng devotional service, talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matter. So ang mangyayari nun, if you talk unnecessarily about mundane subject matter that is not connected with your relationship with the Supreme Person to be very close to Him, to do His will, ang mangyayari nun, you will be the first recipient of the garbage na lalabas sa bibig mo. Kasi ikaw yung makakarinig eh. Pero bakit nangyayari yon? Kasi ang situation natin, the living entity has been covered by this gross and subtle material covering. Kaya, natural, ang lalabas sa bibig natin, puro mundane sound. Kasi doon tayo nakapokus. Pero by nature, we want to become free from suffering. Kasi hindi naman yun yung mundo natin. Wala naman nagsabi na, kastiguhin ko ninyo, mag-join ko. Asa ba ang lugar na pwede na mukastigo sa ato? Naisipan niyo yan? Gusto ba niyo pumasok sa kulungan? O gusto niyo pumasok sa mental hospital? May mga tao bang gano'n? Wala. Kasi by nature, we want the living entity is joyful by nature. Kaya lang, dahil hindi natin nakikita kung saan hahanapin yung kaligayahan, kaya we're so much burdened by this gross covering because of our meditation. So our awareness is about this dead world. Okay? Is it clear? So tignan nyo gano'ng kahirap pala ang spiritual life. Mahirap dahil you're put in a situation, but if you don't follow the system to be purified, to get out of this engrossment, by purifying our heart, our life, with the Supreme Purifier, the holy names of God, the teachings of the Spiritual Master, to be in harmony with the will of God, then you will not succeed. You will not succeed. Kasi hindi ka makakaalis dun sa gross covering. Many want to speak something to others, but because they are not trained to speak on the subject of Vedic wisdom, they're all speaking nonsense. And people are receiving them with no sense. There are hundreds and thousands of sources for distributing mundane news of the world. And people of the world are also receiving it. Similarly, people of the world should be taught to hear the transcendental topics of the Lord. And the devotees of the Lord must speak loudly so that they can hear. The frogs loudly croak. Alam yung palaka? Koka, koka. With the result, they invite the snake to eat them. Kaya mapapansin nyo pag umuulan, yung mga palaka, koka, koka. Yung cobra dyan, yung mga ahas, madali kayong matuntun yung palaka. Kasi maingay eh. Kakainin nila yung palaka. The human tongue is specially given for chanting the Vedic hymns and not for croaking like frogs. The word asati used in this verse is also significant. Asati means a woman who has become a prostitute. Hindi ba pag sinabi mong prostitute, makasalanan? Kaya nga, pag yung mga husband, pag gabi na dumating, ba't amoy amoy chiko ka? Saan ka galing? Ba't yung pabango mo parang pabango ng di ba? Saan ka galing? Baka galing ka sa prostitution. Ha? A prostitute has no reputation for good womanly qualities. Similarly, the tongue, which is given to the human being for chanting of Vedic hymns, will be considered a prostitute when engaged in chanting in some mundane nonsense. So yun yung process natin, purification, awareness of our true transcendental nature. Kaya kung lumalabas sa bibig natin ay yung hindi natin sinusunod, yung talking unnecessarily, at lumalabas sa atin ay mundane sound, ibig sabihin nun, it contaminates us. It contaminates those who hears us. Kaya ang focus, doon yung mapapansin if you are sober enough, when you are in this sober state, ibig sabihin nun, your senses are calm kasi you're in the mode of goodness. If you're in the mode of goodness, ibig sabihin nun, yung passion kasi talagang yung libido mo to enjoy talagang enjoy the senses. Yeah? Yung mode of goodness, you are tranquil. Kalmado ka ba? You're able to sit down and experience calmness. And when you chant the holy names, your awareness, now you're gliding towards that world wherein your heart, your mind, you want to do what is pleasing to God. Ngayon, yung material desires nandyan. Laging nandyan parate dahil yung mind natin at na-anxiety tayo. That's a good sign. Kasi nakikita mo na what will be your downfall, what will separate you from Krishna. Kaya, instead of trying to close your eyes, o kaya to control yung desire na yan, what we should do, we should purify the desire by the transcendental sound that is the supreme purifier, Krishna. Kaya hindi devotee, pag may problem, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Hindi yung paglalaban ko, poprotektahan ko sarili ko, no. You don't need to put yourself in a situation where you're powerful. All what we should do is to be completely dependent upon the Lord and take shelter of His mercy. And what do? The transcendental blessing, the mercy that is given to us, coming from the lips of His loving servant, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the holy names of God, because it's invested with all transcendental powers that will protect us. What will protect us? Our love, our happiness, and it's connected with the pleasure of God. Kaya ang nangyayari, kung yung person hindi aware, kaya nga, mapapansin mo, you sit down, you can know a person the moment he speaks. You can know a saintly person or a sane. Okay Sane na lang, wag na saintly. A sane ba? Alam mo yung sane? Intakto ba? Pag nagsalita. Kung ang salita, tahol ng aso, koka about this mundane word. This person is crazy. So you stay away. Okay? So what you should do, you should listen to the transcendental sound, the prime benediction for humanity at large. Lahat tayo na nandito, what did entangle us? Covered us, shocked us. Mundane sound. Kung ano yung naririnig mo. Dati, anong ginagawa nyo? Sinong kasama nyo? Ang anong ginagawa nila? Doon kayo naka-shelter. Kaya hindi nyo alam, time moves so fast. Kaya nga, laging tatanungin mo, pag winaste mo yung time, hindi mo na mababalik. So, ang dinidescribe dito, kung lagi tayong we run, alam mo yung running of the tongue? Makadikit ka lang ng, oy, kumare, bla 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 bla, yung tongue ba, running by the tongue ba, hindi na huminga, hindi ka na rin makapagsalita dahil wala nang lal. Wala nang ang kama Hindi ka makapasok. Puro lang exclamation point. Okay? Then death comes. So you see, yung predicament, yung problems natin, but God is so merciful. He loves us. He sends His devotee. And He gives us guidance. That's why, to succeed, we must follow the footsteps of the saintly person. So in our study program, the teachings of the nectar of instruction guides us. It gives us the process of devotional service. The hearing, the chanting, the remembering, the praying, the offering. Okay? You offer. Here in this temple, for example, nandito kayo sa temple, Maharaj Prataparuda, who is a saintly king, goes to the temple of Lord Jagannath and sweep the temple, okay? Pero kayo na nandito, what do? You're in the temple of God. Okay? So kung ang puso natin, ang isipan natin, puro garbage, garbage out. Kung ano yung ginagawa natin, it is the manifestation of our closeness or separation from that world of Lord Krishna. Kaya, you don't need to look far. Look at yourself. Tingnan nyo. Where am I heading? What is my consciousness? What is my security? Am I really experiencing this, this really real shelter? Or am I like the ostrich or the rabbit? Alam niyo yung ostrich? Yung rabbit na lang. Nandun yung danger, nakapikit lang siya. He denies yung danger. So, time and tide waits for no man. Anytime, that will come. And there will be a result of all the activities you did. May karma. As you sow, you shall reap. So, kung hindi mo ipopokus yung life mo to be in that world of being in harmony with what is transcendental, what is inseparable from you, your love, your focus, your life, and it's focused upon this dead world, then you will be here experiencing all the suffering that is in this material world. Because that suffering is a separation from what is inseparable from you. Because your life is directed upon the world of suffering. So if you're intelligent, you ask yourself, where am I heading? Where am I going? What is my security? So, dinidescribe dito sa atin, awareness, okay? What comes out of our mouth, what comes out of our, how do we express ourselves, what resonate. Alam yung resonate? Alam yung submarino yung mga ting, ting, yung resonate ba? What resonate? What comes out of you? Okay? So kung yung living entity, you can know a person is making progress in spiritual life or what you think as salvation whatsoever when what comes out of his mouth, that comes out of his heart and his mind is about a connection in a transcendental relationship with what is eternally inseparable from him, rendering loving service to the Supreme Person. Kaya makikita nyo, pinag-uusapan natin dito parati sa mundo na to, yung mga bahaw na ba? Pero lami man, okay? Di ba? Usually ganun eh. Oy, may sikreto. Anong sikreto? Huwag mong sasabihin ha. Sinabi sa akin ni Kumari, okay? Sa akin lang niya sinabi yan. Sasabihin ko sa iyo, pero huwag mong sasabihin ha. So si Kumari naman, sabi ni Mare, narinig niya kay ganito, pero huwag mong sasabihin na sinabi ni Kumari. So kakalat yun. Okay? May value ba? As if para may treasure ka ba? Alam mo, okay? Parang minsan, matawa nga ako One time I was riding this bus, My mother's about to die, okay? She's in the hospital, okay? My Nichalila has this friend, okay? I left this, she drove me sa bus station, okay? Iniwan niya ako ron, okay? Yung bus galing Cagayan, okay? So, syempre, it goes to Davao. I have to take the plane at 5 o'clock in the morning. So, alas 12, kailangan makarating ang Davao, okay? Yun ang tendency. I was aware of it, no? Kasi, pag sakay ko sa bus, there's this beautiful lady, nagmamadali, sabay kayong pumasok. At yun lang yung vacant na upuan. Okay? So, pag upo ko, umupo yung beautiful lady rito. Okay? Nandun pala yung kaibigan ni Chalila. Okay? Nanunood sa malayo sa akin. Okay? Binabantayan niya kung nakikipaghuntahan ako doon, niyayakap ko ba yun, ano? At nagte-text siya kay ni Chalila. Ni Chalila, nakita ko si yung husband mo, may kasamang babae, napakaganda at napaka-sexy, katabi pa niya sa upuan. Okay? Yung mind ko during that time, inisip ko, kailangan magsakay ako sa aeroplano. Pagtayo ko sa Davao, kita ko siya, hey, sir. Okay? Pero hindi ko alam, yung nakita niya, tinext na kay Ning Chalila. Imagine mo kung totoo yun, ha? Kung totoo. Baka kinunan pa nga niya ng picture, eh. Live, alam mo? So, ang point ko rito, tayo, your life, tayo lahat, we're responsible for our action. Okay? Kung ano yung nasa heart mo, ano yung nasa mind mo, definitely yun yung gagawin mo. Kaya kung you can see and understand at you can make a choice kung sino dapat mong kaibigan. So kung yung lumalabas sa bibig ng person, hindi beneficial sa'yo, then huwag ka makinig. Okay? Ang point ko rito, we're discussing about spiritual life. Okay? Ay halimbawa nakita, oh, what's the point, di ba? Nakita mo, okay? Kaya nga, anong value nun, okay? Na ikaw yung nakakita para isumbong, para pagdating, bugno sa bahay. Para, so, nakita nyo, material life is about a meditation mo sa mundo na to, akala mo may value. Ang may value, nalaman ni Sukadev Goswami, ni Maharaj Parisit, sa ni Maharaj Kadbanga, tinanong siya, nasa heavenly planet siya, kasama yung mga demigod, tinanong, how much time do I have? Sabi ng mga kasama niya, you have only a moment. Immediately pumunta siya sa earth and he focused upon meditation of his relationship and surrender in humility to be protected by Lord Krishna. Okay. Is it clear sa inyo? Pero halimbawa, yung husband, late umuwi. Pag uwi, amoy chiko at meron pa ritong lipstick. Okay? Sa pagdating sa bahay, may daladalang ano. Okay? So, uwi siya sa bahay para walang gulo, anong gagawin niya? Ipipake niya yung katotohanan, maglalay siya. Kaya awareness is very important. Awareness of who you are, that you're transcendental to the three modes of material nature. Yun yung reason kaya ang spiritual master must have no material consideration. Dapat ang spiritual master natin, God the servant, the representative of God, He is the one who can connect us because His word, His life is connected with a life that is pure and unalloyed, loving service to the Supreme Person. Yun yung devotee. Yun ang dapat association natin. At yung pinapakinggan natin are the eternal, nectarian, transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Person. Kaya nga yung process natin is hearing. You hear the eternal, nectarian world that is inseparable from what you're longing for. Happiness. Transcendental happiness. Kaya kung makikinig ka parate ng mga chismis, mga nangyayari sa mundo na to, puro mapait, malupit. Matingnan nyo, naririnig ng lahat. Is it clear sa inyo? So ngayon, you have this choice sa buhay nyo. Aalisin mo ba yung sobrang bigat na nasa ulo mo? Pero ang hirap, i-defocus mo ngayon yung buhay mo from gliding towards this sinkhole, yung kumunoy, o you are now able that yes, I have to swim, I can swim by taking off all this covering that I don't have any load. Ano yun? When you realize you're not matter and you understand and engage in your natural, eternal, transcendental position as eternally the loving servant of God in humbleness, connect yourself, listening, guided by the representative of God, the spiritual master. Then you'll succeed. Is it clear? So, ang success wala sa utak nyo. Ang success nasa transcendental sound, nasa Diyos. Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestayate
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestayate
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayanya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayanya
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayanya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayanya
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Vatavrinda
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Vatavrinda
Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana 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 Haribol Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana 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 Haribol
Jaya Jaya Gauranga.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Gauranga. Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Gauranga.
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa.
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestaya Te.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestaya Te.